All right, gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to Monday afternoon, 3 p.m. It is, gents, and today we have a live interview with one of our clients, another indestructible man, legend, coming through the ranks here at Indestructible Men, by the name of Stuart Sims. Okay, so we're just waiting for Stuart to join us. I think he's just joining us in a few moments. Guys, if you're watching here, if you're watching live with us today, let us know in the chat. Give us a like, give us a wave in the comments section. Okay, guys, if you've got any questions throughout this interview that we're going to be sharing today, that we're going to be chatting with Stuart. We've got Brendan in the house, another indestructible legend, joining us today. All right, team. So we're just waiting for Stuart. So bear with me 1 second. I'll go in and check that Stuart hasn't got lost somewhere. Okay, he's got the link. Okay. All right, team. Just give us a few moments. All right, here he comes. Stuart is in the house. If you can hear me and you can see me, let me know in the comments section. Just give us a thumbs up. Just give us a sign that all is good and we're good to go. Okay, so we've got Brendan. We've got Antonio in the Facebook group. Who else we got here? Good man. Thanks for that. Good stuff, guys. All right. Thanks for joining us live and being part of Stuart's journey here so far. Good afternoon, Stuart.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
Very well. How are you today?
Good, thank you. Not too bad. Sorry, delay.
Oh, it's cool, man. It's cool. We got there. All right, Stuart. So thanks for joining us on the live this afternoon. Much appreciated. Coming on here and sharing your journey with other guys. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, guys, Stuart is another indestructible legend who completes his 12 weeks, has come through the ranks, and he's on the call today with me. He's going to be sharing his journey, his transformation, and the steps that we've taken to get to this point inside of his journey. So first of all, Stuart, if you don't mind, just introduce yourself. Like, tell us where you live, where you're from, kids, family, etc.
Yeah. No worries. So Stuart, I live up in the, sorry, just dropped some paperwork. I live over in the South Lakes. I've got a wife, child, and a Labrador as well that keeps us busy on some walks. But yeah, it's a little bit about me. And in profession wise, I'm an accountant in my profession, but work in industry, have done my whole career, and I work in a kind of multifaceted business at the moment in the South Lakes.
Awesome, man. Cool. Thanks for that. How old are you, Stuart? Is it 42?
42.
42, yeah. Cool. All right, Stuart. So let's begin, right? The way I like to do these calls is I like to take a few steps back. Let's go back to the initial conversation that we had a few months ago. And tell me what was going on at the time, like how you felt, like where you were, and why you decided to join Indestructible Men.
Yeah, at the time, I was, still suffering. I'd started to suffer from kind of health conditions, so high blood pressure had started coming on. I had some abnormal liver enzyme readings, and obviously I knew I was kind of unfit, overweight, and I'd pretty much tried lots of different things through the last decade, I would say, on and off, yo-yoing, no sugar diets, fasting, shakes, Herbalife, V, whatever, tried them all. and constantly kept yo-yoing. And my son is nearly 3 now, and I was kind of, I guess, the health checkups, high blood pressure, liver, cholesterol as well. I didn't mention cholesterol was starting to get a bit too high. All of those things were leading me to think I need to do something here. But everything I'd ever tried just hadn't. Well, I couldn't do it on my own. Whatever it was, and yeah, came across Indestructible Men somehow through social, through Facebook. Looked at some of the stuff you were doing and reached out, and yeah, the rest is history, as they say. So.
Yeah, the rest is history indeed. Cool. So, like, you've tried lots of things, right? Like, having tried so many things, like in the past, and like nothing worked. How did that leave you feeling? Like, what did that do to you?
I think you get a few different emotions. You get, well, that's just the way it is, so don't worry about it. But you know you're on that kind of. But then you get the health check stuff. So I guess I've kind of slipped into that. You know, comparing yourself to the wider population, you're probably not too bad. You know, so don't worry about it. Then you get your health stuff, and then you're thinking, no, you've got to do something here. I've got a young son, want to be around for him. You know, for as long as I possibly can. Certainly don't want to not be around for him because of my health choices. So that was kind of like an awakening call, if you like. And if you take that aside, I was probably also just really, you know, despondent about it, a bit depressed, thinking, how on earth how do you do this? You know, what can I do to make this a lifetime change? I think that's something I could never get my head around. All of these things that I'd done were like short, you know, maybe 6 months, but it was like it was something I did. I'd lost some weight. I put it all back on, but I think the thing to get across to anyone listening to this now or in the future is this is not just about losing weight. This has been very much a huge mindset shift for me, a mental growth as much as, you know, the health benefits that come with it.
Nice, Stuart. Nice. Thanks for sharing, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Tell me, like, why do you think, like, looking at where you're at now, like in what we've done inside the program, why do you think those things didn't work for you in the past, and why do you think this has worked?
Well, what this program's done, I'm not sure why they didn't work. I think it was always because it was like, I'll answer that first. It was always because it was like, I've read this on Google, or I've spoken to someone and I'm just going to try this, or other people are talking about it. It's the fad, you know, the Atkins diets, whatever. And they're just not sustainable, and they're not sustainable for the lifestyle that I lead as well, whether that be corporate entertaining or, you know, stuff I want to do with friends and family. And the absolute beauty of this program has been two key components to it, probably. One is it's very set up, very incremental. So every week you're doing something, you're just adding a little bit more. So it doesn't feel like you're doing this huge. You're not going on some fad. You're not going on a diet. You're building habits and processes that you can keep building on. I think that was, or has been, a huge thing, and continues to be a huge part of the program for me. So it's not overwhelming. You know, you feel that you can do it. I think that's pretty key one. I suppose there's that, and I think being part of a group has been massive for me. So the Indestructible Man program, you're not in isolation. Yes, you're talking to you, Christian, and there's weekly calls, but there's also a group of guys on the same kind of journey with the same challenges, and there's a real kind of camaraderie, but there's also a lot of help in that group. You know, if you're having a bad day, they might be having a bad day, or if you're having a good day, they might be having a bad day, and you bounce off each other. And the other big thing I've learned here on the mental side of things is to be kind to myself and fair to myself. Like, just because you've had a bad day or a bad week doesn't mean you're going off course. You've still got your vision, you've still got your goals, and it's just about making good choices overall. you know. So I think that answered the question.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
beautiful,
there's a few
beautiful
things.
stuff. Can you tell us, like, how did you get to that point where you've learned to be, like you said there, being kinder to yourself?
Mm.
How did you reach that point?
Well, I think honestly, it's the education I've had from the program. There's a huge amount of good content that we covered in the 12 weeks, and it starts at week 1. And there's the weekly mindset stuff. There's nutrition stuff as well, and I didn't even get on every call live, but would catch up with them in the evening. And the content's amazing, and the support of you and the team has been amazing. I think that's been a major difference. Like if you've ever been on a diet and you suddenly have a bad, I don't know, you've gone out for dinner with mates and you've had some beers and I don't know, you've eaten food choices that perhaps you wouldn't have picked for the rest of the week because you've been dieting, and then you get up the next day and you think, oh, that's a nightmare, and you just spiral out of control again. Whereas here I've learned some really good mental strength to just accept it, but also know that those choices are my choices. Like I'm empowered to make the choice. If I choose to go for 10 beers and watch rugby and have a load of burgers and whatever and a big breakfast the next morning, it's because now I feel like I've made that choice. And I've made that choice in line with what I'm trying to achieve overall. So if I make that choice, I'm empowered to make that choice. Don't beat myself up about it. Focus on getting back onto my future goal. I think that's, and I never would have been thinking like that 12, 13 weeks ago, whatever it was. That just, this is the beauty of the program. It gives you a lot of mental reflections. It's not a diet. This is not a diet. This is not a short-term fad.
Yeah. What do you think would have happened in the past? Like you were talking there about, like when things go like slightly sideways, like how would you have reacted to that?
Just would have just thought, put on a pound, it's okay, it's not much, and then it would have crept up again, and then it would have crept up again, or probably, I think, probably a truer answer is when you set yourself an ambition of going on a diet, which I'm going on a diet, I'm going to lose a stone, whatever. You kind of set that target, and then you've got an end goal. Your end goal is you've lost a stone, and then you've hit your stone, and then you can go, well, I've hit it now. What am I going to do? What now? And then you start doing bad habits again. And I think that's what historically has happened. You make massive sacrifices to lose weight, but you don't actually change your underlying behaviors. You're not changing your underlying habits. You're not changing. There's no goal beyond losing weight, but the goal that I've identified, and this is again what Indestructible Men does for you, it's you set a long-term vision goal. What am I trying to do this for? I'm not doing this to lose weight per se. I'm doing this to have a healthy outcome for my family. And people could go, well, you could think that anyway, before you go on a diet. For me, that wasn't the case. For me, even if I thought that wasn't the case, this has given me the homeworks, the education. This has given me a really good basis for the future. And I actually recognise that this is just a start of where I'm, my journey. I'm still really becoming educated in this area with your support, the other guys supporting the group, and see this as a long term. This is like life learning. This is not, it's applying health and well-being as a priority rather than just those other things like work or I've focused massively on work through my life, which is great, and it's given me some good opportunities, but never on the health side of things. And now I feel like, well, I can't really do one without the other. So I've come in. It's coming full circle, really. It's been, I think hopefully that answered the question properly.
Very well put there, Stuart. What were your concerns before doing this program? Like what was going through your head?
Well, one, is this just a fad? Like all of those other things we were talking about, is this real? People you see a lot of, especially today, you see a lot of kind of influencer stuff on the internet, on your social feeds, and it's really hard to work out, the wheat from the chaff, so to say. What is this genuine? So there was always, I think, going into anything you don't know that isn't recommended to you from an individual that you trust, there's always a bit of trepidation in that. But I kind of looked a lot of what you'd been doing, looked at some of your stuff that you'd been doing on socials and listening, and I just kind of felt that it resonated a lot. And I thought, I've got nothing to lose here. I've got health conditions that are not good. I've got no skill set to probably do it in a way that would work successfully. And I felt having the initial discussion with you before I signed up was really helpful in me understand what the program was and what it would deliver for me. And leap of faith, I suppose, just went for it.
Leap of faith, yeah, I love that. I've done that a few times myself, Stuart. Or what it's like, but yeah. If you hadn't taken that leap of faith, where do you think you would be now?
Well, I would probably be at least the same weight as I was, and that isn't, again, it wasn't the outcome. But more importantly, since I've begun this program, my blood pressure is down, my cholesterol is back normal levels, and my liver enzymes readings are also improved back to normal levels. So I guess the answer to that was, if I was carrying on what I was doing and not without any focus, I'd probably have all of those health conditions. Well, I would have, no doubt, and I would be stuck in that rut of, and there's a massive mental side to this. Probably a bit depressed about the whole situation. Would probably have been depressed about the whole situation, and just kind of hiding away from it, really, and not facing up to it. So I think, yeah, if I hadn't have done the program, that's where I would be.
Yeah, man. Tell us a little bit about how life has changed for you now. Like, what's different?
There's lots of things. One, I feel a lot happier in myself, energy and structure. Some of the things that have happened with the program, like having a morning routine, trying most mornings hitting that, and if not, fitting it in during the day. I'm doing a lot more activity, so I'm playing football again. I've entered a squash league, so I'm playing squash, getting beaten every week, but I'm playing and improving. I'm having squash lessons. I'm walking more. I'm more active. I've got the focus of being active, and I'm spending much better quality time with my family as well. Because I've kind of made decisions like, this is where I want to get to long term. The vision of being healthy for my family. It's made me cut down all those things like going out boozing with the lads all the time, which I didn't do loads, but I still did enough. And I'm now making a decision to go, well, I'm not doing that. And I'm not saying you don't go out with your friends and you don't do anything, because I'll catch up with them less regularly, definitely. But I am catching up with them, and I'm sticking to 2 beers if I go out, or because I know if I don't, a lot of my health choices after that aren't going to be good for me, so I'm still learning. That's really hard as well, that whole process of how you change your interactions with your friends as well as your family. Like, I feel like my family times improved massively, friend times less, but we're starting to do more, like play squash together or have a walk, or look to go biking, rather than it being, let's just go down the boozer. So but I think the time with them is also much better quality that I have with them as well. So yeah, there's so many things. And I think at work I've really got much more focus on my why as well. Like, you just think, it's just like, why do all this? why am I doing all this stuff? Why am I picking these decisions? I think that's the whys is massive. Yeah.
Nice, man. So like the work that we've done inside Indestructible Men, what we're saying is it's transition to all the other areas of your life, the work and family, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. How does it feel to be here today and to say that you've achieved these things?
It feels a bit of well, it feels strange to say I've achieved, because I have, I've lost, if you take the measurements, I've lost a lot of weight. I think I'm down about 16 pounds, I've lost about 4 inches off my waist. It's kind of all of those outcomes, but I think I've said about that before, like they don't really matter to me. It's like the underlying things that matter to me. Like they have become a outcome of the changes that are leading me to a better life. Really, I feel great about it. I feel great that I feel empowered now more. I mean, it's a weird thing to say, but Indestructible Men has given me routine, focus, empowerment, confidence, and the only other thing I'd say is I feel like I'm right at the beginning. So I've had all these achievements, but I recognise, because of the training and because of the interactions, that for my future goal, what I want to get to, I've still got a huge amount of progress to make, and I know I'm going to make mistakes on the way, and I know, but at least when I'm making those mistakes, there'll be conscious mistakes, and I think I feel awakened a little bit to like a mindset that I didn't have before. So.
Beautiful. Are you surprised by all of this?
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm probably like, I think I told you about all this like stuff you see on social, like influencers, that I am so cynical about anything and everything, especially on the internet, but most things. I'm an accountant, so by my very nature, I'm very prudent, if you like, and consider risk considerably in those parts of my life and work. So I didn't really know. I mean, I guess, yeah. I mean, I am surprised, but actually having gone through the program and seeing how it's structured, I'm not surprised now I'm through it. But if you had said 12 weeks ago, 13 weeks ago, what I would have been very surprised for the outcomes that I've achieved. Not just the outcomes, but the ambition I've got, and the mindset change and the goals that I've got is more surprising, actually. The long-term goals is very surprising.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Stuart. Where do you see yourself 12 months from now then?
Well, hopefully a lot healthier still. Still, if you talk about the outcomes, I'd like to drop about another stone in weight, but ultimately I've kind of got these crazy goals now. Like I've always wanted to I watch these guys do Ironmans and ladies doing Ironmans, and I'm like, I'd quite like to do one of those, but yeah, with no concept of being able to do one. And in my head, I'm going to myself, right, by 2025, I want to have done an Ironman, or at least a half Ironman. And to do that, I know I've got to continue making the right choices, health choices. Got to get fitter. I've got to get more confident. I'm a terrible swimmer, so to do an Ironman, I'm gonna have to get some swimming training in, and and that actually probably realistically, I'm a terrible swimmer because I've always been body conscious as well. I think that's been a major issue in terms of gaining confidence to do that. So I'm hopeful. Well, I am feeling more confident, and the more confidence I get, the more I'll not care, and the more I don't care, the more I can do these goals. Learn to swim properly and do it. So I have got these like choices. I've got these goals, and I think about my son, and I think, well, if he's going to be running up hills in another 6 or 7 years when I'm late 40s, I want to be running up there with him. I don't want to be at the back, you know, a mile behind. So yeah, it's just there's kind of short-term goals for myself, but also longer-term goals for him, so that I'm there for him as well, you know, and pushing him on. So
Nice, man. Amazing, Stuart. Amazing.
Mhm.
Last question. What would you say to someone thinking about taking on the Indestructible Men program?
I just say, just get on with it. I think you're probably only thinking about it because you've got underlying challenges and issues, and you've tried things before. And I think if you've anything like me and had years of different attempts and failures, if you like, then you absolutely got to give this a go, because I'm just a normal bloke, and you know, and probably, as I say, as cynical as some other people are, and you know, I generally would say, you know, happy to talk to anyone ever about it. This has been an amazing change for me, and you know, if I could have done it sooner, if I'd have come across you sooner, that would have been great too, but I haven't, and I would get on with it. I think you'll find it's not a weight loss journey. This is a life change journey, and you're going to get given some amazing tools that are going to empower you, and you're not going to get that by some of the other fads that you see or reading a book. You're just not going to do it. So, you know, I would say get on with it.
Nice, man. Great advice, Stuart. All right, man. I'll let you crack on.
Very much.
Thanks for joining us today.
No worries, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, Christian. See ya.